Okay, we're here at part 3. Hope I'm remembering to get the camera angles a little bit better. Will and Tom call a timeout to regroup, and they're about to talk about some things which we won't listen to. So let's just skip forward here. All right, we're about to start. Okay, here we go. So, gonna serve. You get a nice deep return by Tom. Wonderful job. This time, Will takes the forehand shot, which is great, and it's a little bit of a pop up, so Will should be able to smash that back pretty nice, and he does. Really nice, right to where my feet are. That's a wonderful shot. Um, I'm able to get a super nice drop on that, like really close to the kitchen, almost too good actually. But anyway, that's crossing, so Tom takes that. Great. Tom takes it. He kind of moves over, I guess, to get that on the forehand, which of course leaves a lot of room rather than Tom taking that on his backhand. But anyway, he takes it on the forehand. I noticed that and hit what looks like a pretty fast kind of dink. What is that? A dink volley or it's a dink something? Yeah, it's a dink volley. So Tom's trying to keep me back, but that ball's a little bit too far. So I'm able to get that on the volley. I take that here because this is where the opening is because Tom is so out of position at this point. But hey, Tom gets the nice reach and is able to save this, which is great. So then it's good. Able to get that back. Okay, Tom goes cross, hits the net. Oh man, yeah. So that's just unfortunate. And they did a good job taking advantage of the net ball. Okay. Okay, so good serve. Will's got a good return right before the line there, and then Rev hits it in the net. Okay. Okay, Chuck hits not a great return. Will hits a that's a great drop. I love that. I love that shot to the backhand of this person, especially when I kind of take that as a volley. And I go into the net with it. So super nice shot, Will. Let's just see. Yeah, so I'm still running. That's always a good spot, even if I'm in position. I think I was in pretty good position, but I took that on the ball instead of on the bounce, or I just didn't get it high enough. So smart decision by Will to go to the backhand where I'm running up.
10-13.
We're at 10-13, playing to 15. Super good serve by Tom. Really nice return by Revy. Again, this is the downwind side. This is the most downwind, is this angle right here. And Tom, unfortunately, looks like he is falling back. And at this point, he's out of position completely, not even in the camera. It causes a pop-up. It causes me to smash it down. However, Tom gets an amazing shot. So, I do wish that maybe Tom had stayed back so he wasn't so out of position, but he made a great recovery. Okay, and now Revy sees that Tom is still kind of moving up. Oh, was that out? Darn it! See this frame by frame. Maybe it's out. That's extremely close. Oh well. I mean, I guess there's no error then. Okay. 11-13. Okay. Pretty low return. It looks like Will might be going for a drive, judging by how far back his paddle is. Yeah, he is. And that's not a bad place for a drive. He's not quite at middle court, but, he's in there. But, the drives, anyway, I'm able to redirect that back pretty sharply. But it does go right to Tom's forehand. He gets a really nice drop in there, actually. But he is coming up to this spot, and I don't know, this is definitely open, and Will should be covering the middle, I believe. Anyway, but hey, it works out. Revy hits a backhand. Will's in great position. Super nice forehand, super nice backhand coming back. Good shot by Revy to just keep that in the kitchen. Now this is where Tom is going to reach over rather than having Will get back in position. And part of that might be because Will is over, and so Tom should be coming and following his partner. For me, I'm probably standing over here. Tom is longer, so he might be there. But then when the ball comes back, Will doesn't come back. And so maybe that's why Tom stayed there, is because, let's get a little closer view here. Because after Will hit the ball, so Will is at basically almost off the court. Like, he's very much on the corner. Now he is staying there, maybe because Revy's already hitting the ball. I don't know. It's not, so I'm not sure. Let's just see what happens. See how this plays out. But that's a high ball. Yeah. So, okay, let's figure this out. So there was a pop-up. The pop-up comes. So Tom is reaching across the court for a ball that is actually going. The X is definitely to Will, and Will gets this ball, I think, every single time. Tom is already reaching for it. Will goes for it as well. I think Will thinks that Tom can't get it. That's what's probably happening here. Is Will thinks that Tom can't get it. So then, and Tom doesn't really see Will coming for it. So then Tom gets it first, but I mean, this ball's coming this way. And I think Will hit the back of Tom's paddle, which caused the pop-up. So that's the error, right? And then boom, put away. So why did that happen? To me, that's Will's ball. It's going on the X to Will. Will is not that. I mean, Will kind of gets back in position at that point. I would say that, and I can see why Tom stays there, because Will is pushed out pretty far. So I see why he stays there. And look, I mean, Will split steps at this point and is not, getting back to having his right foot here. So Tom kind of has to stay there, to be honest. Like, I've been in this position too, where, my partner's over here. You can't go this way. Otherwise, like, nobody's in the middle, right? So you got to stay there. And you don't know, you can't see, Tom cannot see where Will is. He just probably knows that Will is like pushed out wide. So Tom figures he needs to cover the middle because his partner's not there. But then Will actually is there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the fault lies in this case. Maybe partially Will needs to start getting back quicker. Like, as soon as he hits the ball, as soon as it's popping up, this one. So as soon as he hits it, I mean, he hits a great shot. He is, his weight is shifting to the left. So he sees it going back over. And he is starting to move. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tom cannot move back that way. So Tom has to stay there. It's just that then Tom doesn't know where Will is. And that's because Will is, almost off the court at this point. And this is a normal progression. It's just, backhand, backhand, backhand. I think Will has to get back over. Yeah, you can't just stay there. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So I think Will has to have the confidence to come back over and know that he can, shoot out and do the little skater move and, take that back foot out and just hit that backhand again. But instead, the split step comes. It comes when he's there. It causes him to reach for it. Doesn't know if Tom can get it. Tom doesn't know that Will can get it. And that causes a pop up. Okay. Sorry, I know I took a long time with that one, but I couldn't really figure out what was happening. Okay. Nice serve. That's the same darn thing again. But I think Will's going to make it this time, maybe. He does make it. But again, boy, this is a big pattern that we all have. Whoever's in this court, I mean, Will does have a nice serve, so you probably wouldn't think that it's going to come back so strong, but his foot is above the baseline. I really think that, especially when you're on the downwind, the upwind side, the ball's going to come back, and I personally think that we all should be somewhere in this area. Oops, I hope I switched the camera back. But instead, Will is now having to move back while he hits the ball. He has to hit it hard. He does a great job, though, of getting that backhand over the net with like a mini drive, which is actually really a hard shot and a really nice shot for where he was at. It doesn't allow him to come up, though. And Revy could have just kept him back there, but instead opts to hit a short drop shot over to Tom, which is actually not bad because it does cause Tom to go completely off the court. And Tom didn't really have any other option. I mean, he hit it with his forehand. He's trying to stop. This is all Tom can do. Ball comes back. It's crossing over to me. I hit it. I should have hit it right to here. But anyway, I hit it right to where Will is. Will has a nice, really, low error shot. Actually, it's low. It's a drive, so make sure it gets over. He can't drop it. He can't make a good drop from there. So I think that's a wonderful shot and a really good coverage from Will. But it goes up. I hit it to Will's backhand. Will is in a great spot. He opts for a lefty shot rather than a backhand. That does pop the ball extremely high up. And that is all she wrote. So, they stayed in there as much as possible, but I'll tell you, where did the whole thing start? Well, it started back here. It started when Will did not get back. He stayed right at the baseline and forgetting that those balls, especially Revy's returns, can be really good sometimes. And downwind, this is where it started. It started with basically, it wasn't that it was popped up. It was that Will was so far out of position at that point. So Revy could have actually hit that here, here, like if he would have been here hitting that ball, he's then moving forward, and both, like, for sure the shot would be better, right? So that way, Revy couldn't have hit such a good, shot to hit for his next one, right? And they would be in good position, so Revy would take less chance. I mean, it's just all of it started with being too close to the baseline. And then the progression started, and they never 100% recovered. Okay. Oops. Okay, it's just... All right. Okay. Serve. Okay, decent return. Okay. Revy goes to Will's backhand. We're both kind of coming up. Okay, Revy takes that on a volley. Really nice, kind of unattackable shot. Then Tom goes to Revy's backhand, which actually is nice. It was right at the perfect spot where Revy either had to go with a you know, with a volley or bounce, but I think he went with the volley, and that caused a pop up. So great shot by Tom to hit that backhand. And we're moving back, and then Will really noticed that the way that I was moving back was straight back, when maybe I should have covered. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a fault. I think it's, you know, I got to cover this area, and you know, that was the open area. Nice shot by Will to see the opening and just crush it down over there. So awesome. Okay, second server. Okay. Will goes for second shot. That was kind of down the line, which is rare. I don't typically get those ones, but it's fine. Get a good drop. Tom is not on his court anymore. Let's see what happened there. Oh, Tom is actually covering the drive going here. So great. And it is going to his X, so okay, good. And then, okay, he drops it and then comes back to cover this court. But I see the opening and come cross because he was pretty. He just leaves a huge opening here. But he was able to actually get that ball, and I mean, barely. You know, that's not the one you wanted to get, but hey, it hit the net and it did get over, so that's good. Revy's going to go cross, looks like here, with a super close shot to the net. And they're both in, you know, they're coming back, so Tom now comes back left, which is great. Now, remember, as Will hits this, I think they both should be going back to the right together. Tom does come back with his weight to cover more of the area, but to me, this just looks mirrored, right? It looks like Will should be the one here, and Tom should be the one a little bit more to the right, but it is what it is. And Revy just hits that ball too hard to the left. Let's see if that was caused by anything. Nah, it wasn't caused. It was just a little bit too much aggressive crossing by Revy. So really, just Tom and Will, they did a good job to stay in that point and basically, you know, stay in it until there was an error on the other side, which is what happened. Okay. All right. So this time, there was a high ball, and Will is driving it right in the net. Will calls it good. He was kind of moving back, but he got his weight back to almost neutral, I think, by the time he hit the ball. So this shouldn't be a net ball, but to me, let's look at this fast motion, because it almost looks like it was kind of a mini drive. It was not a drop. And, you know, mini drive from way behind the baseline. Not really sure strategically how that works. I mean, even if you do get a good drive, you're upwind. The other team has so much time to prepare for that ball. It's a very low chance that you're going to hit a winner. And I think Will had time to hit a better shot than that. I mean, he did have to move a little bit. I don't know. Okay. All right, Will serves here. I'm 1302. Okay, pretty short serve. Revy hits a super short return from that. Tom goes with his backhand and basically stays here and covers the middle. So, you know, I see a lot of these where Tom is covering the middle with his backhand rather than Will covering the middle with his forehand. This is a pattern for sure. Anyway, Tom is not able to get that shot. So where's the error? The first error is, you know, he's reaching for it. It doesn't mean that he can't make it. Is it better if Will gets that on the forehand? Absolutely, that's better. So it's here. Okay, this is fine for Tom to get. Okay, but at this point, okay, the ball's going up. I should know that this is open. And it's my fault for not hitting over there to punish the open court. Maybe Tom knows that. I don't know. But at this point, you know, whether Tom just sees Will way over there and so knows that he needs to cover the middle, maybe that's what Tom is thinking. But at this point, um, he should be sliding over. So he split steps, but he's covering middle. He's not covering the line. And if he's covering middle, then Will won't be covering middle because that doesn't make sense. So, who's covering? I mean, if Will was even 1 or 2 steps over, I don't know. I wonder if Tom would have moved back, but instead, I mean, that's not a great shot. So they don't move up, which is good. But I think that Tom should move over to cover the side, because even if he can cover the middle, they're losing points because he's covering middle. I think that's, I mean, who should be in what position, this and that, I don't know. But from what I've seen in the last part 2 and now part 3 of the game, is that a lot of points are being missed because Will is too far left. Tom is covering middle. I'm not, I can't say, did Will not go back? Did Tom not go over there first? I don't know. All I know is that the points are being lost because Tom is covering middle in his backhand, and then one thing leads to another, and then so in this case, the drop wasn't so good. I'm able to get some pace on it. I hit it basically to Tom's backhand with a lot of pace. Tom tries to reset, but it's just really hard to reset that from a backhand stretched out position. It's not the high percentage type shot. Whereas actually that ball, if Will was covering, that ball is definitely going this way. So actually Will, I think if Will was 1 step over, he gets that no problem and the point continues, but instead it's point over. So position, for sure. It's a position issue. Okay. Oops. All right. So we got a decent return. Revy just hits that one out for no reason. Good job, guys, to not hit that. Okay. Okay, Will with a pretty decent return right to my forehand. I hit a real nice drop. This is I mean, I don't know if this is gonna lead to anything bad, but this just typically doesn't look that good, I think. Let's just see. Yeah, I'm hitting that. I'm hitting that to the X. This should be to Will's forehand, which is no problem shot for Will to get back. I mean, that's it's a poach by Tom. Okay, cool. I'm able to get it back again. Tom is still, so that second shot, Tom still covered the middle. The X was going to Will, but okay. And then Revy hits that to Will. Will hits that back to me. I go kind of straight at. And then, so, I mean, I think, where's the error here? I actually get a little bit of spin on that ball and drop it pretty close to the net, I think. Tom is in a good position to get this ball. The error is just the fact that maybe he was reaching too far over and didn't let that drop first. I think, it's just too close to the ground. That's just more chance of error when you try to hit that on a volley at like your feet. Maybe it's better to step back. All right, so Revy's going. Okay, nice return for Tom. you know, Tom is basically at this point over the middle from the backhand side. So and yeah, you know, I could see Tom taking that with his backhand. Um, but hey, it was a good shot and it caused Revy to pop it up. And then got a little net help across to the side. So that's a great play. That's a nice shot by Tom, and actually, it worked out. I, you know, maybe Tom and Will have some kind of thing where Tom takes the middle from his backhand side. Okay, we got pretty short return by Revy. And then Will just misses that. I think that's just an unforced error. That's nothing. That's just unforced error. There's nothing there. And also the wind could have been picking up at that point. This is the hardest court to really get it over with any kind of finesse. You can't really do much when you're on this most upwind side. Okay. 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 Middle return. That's a nice drop by Will to over to Revy there. Revy gets that back over, and actually, Will came up the side here. So Tom kind of has to cover the middle, because, yeah, Will is coming up here, so it forces Tom to the middle. Let's go to camera 2 here. Like, I'll show you, like, just Will's probably thinking that Revy's gonna come down the line, but and Will wants to be ready for that. But what happens is it is pushing Tom to the middle, just as you can see. Will, I think, could be here and just take any shot on the backhand. But anyway, but the thing is, his drop was so good. Will's drop was like so nice that like that's a low percentage shot that Revy's going to make anything good from a ball that's that low. Anyway, so Revy has a good cross. We've got a kitchen rally coming in now. And Revy just kind of hits one at Will. So that's a little bit of a high ball. Yeah, that's a little high, And then Revy basically just, has a nice little bit harder of a body shot. Will's paddle. Let's just see where Will's paddle was right before this. Will's paddle is, it's up there. It just hits it in the net. You just gotta be ready for those. Okay. Okay. We got a short serve, middle return. We got Tom. Tom has the length to cover a lot. Good job keeping him back. And that's it. So what happened was, yeah, actually, Tom, it looks like Will was going for, I was still kind of running, and that right side was open for Will if he did get it hard. But I think, sometimes, maybe he was just, I think Will can make that shot. I think sometimes you just, when you're trying to win, you go for too much, and too much causes errors, right? It's either out balls or goes in. There is not that much room for error. You got to be calm, I guess, and maybe that's why that happened. Was obviously the paddle was, turned down a little bit, but there was a lot of room that Will could have hit that. I wasn't in a great position. There was a lot of open room. I would have probably gotten to the ball, but you don't need to take the winner. I think one of the things I think about is, and this is a mistake I make a lot, especially in skinny singles, is if somebody makes a good shot and they get to the kitchen, they get to the kitchen. You can't turn back time, and you can't force them back once they're there. Once they're there, and you have to then kind of calm down and just make good kitchen shots and then set something else up, right? It's just you can't force them back after they're up. Or if they make a good third shot drop, you basically have to instantly accept the fact that they made a great shot, and you can't go aggressive at that point. You can't be, trying to like get them back for that shot because they did a good job, and that's on them, right? It doesn't really have much to do with your shots. It's like they just did a good job getting up. They made the good third shot. They got up. Um, so anyway, it's something that I think, we all do this. Not, not picking on Will, but we all do this. Is you know, like, dang it, we should have kept them back, and then, you wanna like punish them for like getting up there. Like, okay, well, let me hit one at the body, or pop something, whatever. I just think that for me at least, that causes more errors than anything else. It's fun when it works, but then you chase the dragon, right? That's the end of the match. I think myself and Revy won, I think 15 something, 11 or 13 or something like that. Really good game. These games are super fun. I'm learning a lot. Uh, it's little thing. There's not a lot of big errors we're making anymore. It's just little things now. I think that are the improvements, and I think that as a whole, our group is making. I see us compared to where we were before. We have lots of kitchen rallies that aren't just 3 or 4 points. It's going 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, shots now. Um, and it's getting, yeah. I mean, anyway, it's fun. The games are fun. We're learning a lot. I know I analyzed myself and Revy, and then I analyzed Tom and Will. I think, in summary, for Tom and Will, the thing that stood out was that Tom is covering middle, and I remember that when I first started playing with Will, that was my tendency as well. And it takes two to tango, and so I think that I'm just wondering if Will sometimes gives up that middle to the partner when he's playing with a new partner, rather than like getting to that middle spot, which then eventually eventually the partner will go to the right. It took me like a couple months to like force myself back to the right, but I kind of felt like I had to cover middle. I just remember that's what I thought in my own head, was that I had to cover middle because I kept seeing Will out to the left side so much. But then that makes bad habits for everybody. So I don't think that's on Tom. I think that's just a thing that they kind of have to work out to be good partners. Is Tom has to trust Will, that Will's going to come back to the middle and make good shots, and then Will has to have confidence in himself and have confidence in his partner that if he gets to the middle, that Tom will give him that room. For myself and Revy, I think we played, pretty smart shots. I think for me, it's about not, stopping. When the other person's hitting the ball, like I need to stop and split step and get ready for the shot rather than try to be on the run. So that's probably my biggest thing. And I think for Revy, I think he didn't, towards the beginning of the game, I think he was doing this more, was basically just, trying to take winner shots when they weren't there. I think that was what stood out. That was the pattern. I think there was many points in a row where that happened early on in this game. I think it was this game. And I think that just calming down and, you know, realizing that, hey, if somebody makes a good shot, you can't go back in time and, you know, get a winner from that. You have to then accept it and move on. It's a different game, right? It's like the game to keep them back is one kind of game, and then the game to once they're in the kitchen is a totally different game. One is you're taking hard shots, and the other one is your like placement and position and all that kind of stuff. So switching, switching the mindset from smash, 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 or cross court like slow shot to like put it away into the net, or not the net but the fence, to you know good position, moving with your partner. And I would say that actually Brevi and I've never seen like that before, but man, there's a couple points where Revy and I really moved in sync. Like it was amazing. Like we were literally like probably 0.1 seconds or less out of sync when we were both sliding back and forth in the kitchen, and that was amazing. So anyway, these are fun games. I'm having a good time analyzing them. I hope you know, my analysis doesn't make anybody upset, because I'm, you know, probably, you know, I don't know if what I'm saying is right. I think it's at least partially right. Um, and Anyway, until next time.